If you guys watch this episode of Gintama Silver Soul Arc Season 2, Episode 3 or Episode 15, or if you have yet, we have to say farewell to a very beloved character. This was a very tragic episode, especially in the later half of it. So they did pinpoint in this episode the highlight of Sadaharu's importance within this whole war and everything that's going on. I mean, it's been shown in the opening, and they highlighted it again in this episode. Because everything that's going on, the Kagetsuchi is like 15 minutes away from launching its attack, and Altana is going berserk because of Yutsuro. So they did explain that if these two energies were to collide with each other, not only will Earth explode or get destroyed, and then everybody else in space, but the galaxy is in danger. It's been highlighted that Sadaharu's job was to watch over and protect Soyahime, but he's off to go do something else. So we're going to see in later episodes what Sadaharu is going to do. And I mentioned in last week's review that you don't really see this in everyday shonen, that the animal or the mascot actually has really great importance in like the huge upscale or the huge fights. You really don't see that. So I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Sadaharu in later episodes. But this is where it gets very serious. It is actually a tearjerker. It really gets out your heartstrings. And like I said, it's we have to say farewell to someone that we have known for a very long time, and we have come to love as a character and the growth of this character. So we see where Takasugi, Matoko, and Bansai are still on the ship, because Takuchi is trying to still infiltrate into the Kagetsuchi in order to stall it, that way they can destroy it afterwards. So while he's trying to do that, we have the other three main KT members on the ship fighting. So we see where Bansai, and this is where I'm leading up to, Bansai is reminiscing of the days when he first joined Takasugi, when they were first thrown in jail, to doing everything from trying to overthrow the government and just basically create something new, okay? Pave a way, destroy everything, because they hated this dull world. They wanted to make this dull world more interesting. And so he took it upon himself to say, you guys move on forward, I will stay here and fight for you guys, and I'll catch up with you guys later. How wrong was he? And how wrong were any of us to believe that was the truth? That was far from the truth, okay? So while he's allowing Takasugi and Matoko to go, now possibly a lot of people, if you don't understand the relationship between him and Bansai, the thing is, this episode proved to us how much Takasugi does care for his current comrades. We always expect, Takasugi to be this emo guy who's all up in his feelings, who doesn't care about the world or anything. But Takasugi does value bonds. He does value connections. It's just like what he had in the past, and still even to this current day, with Gintoki, Katsura, and Sakamoto, more so with the former two. And the fact that he created a new group, new Keitai, with these new members. When you see the relationship between him and Bansai, it's like Bansai is Takasugi's right hand. He is someone that he trusts with his life. And to see the immense shock on Takasugi's face, and then later anger for losing a comrade, goes to show you that Takasugi isn't as horrible as most people may make him out to be, or the story tried to approach him as. Takasugi is very much human, and he makes a lot of mistakes, but by no means does he not care for those who he fights alongside day in and day out, knocking at death's door. So to see Takasugi for the first time, like, we see actual shock, and there was like a borderline, the way I was looking at it, probably I am wrong, but because I was all up in my feelings watching it, crying and everything, he looked scared. I saw like there was a fear of losing someone he cared for, in a sense, again. And he knew that very well from his days during the Joy War, okay? Walking over corpses in order to move on forward instead of looking back like a hero. They describe somewhat the way Takasugi acts. It's like a hero, a person who keeps moving on forward, fighting, but never looks back, and that causes people to fall after him because of his actions. So while Bansai is fighting and everything, he's getting more injured, he's getting critically injured and everything. And I think this is where it really hurt me the most, because he did get shot like how much times? The two most prominent ones where you saw those big holes, like one in his lower stomach and one closer to his rib cage, and then more enemies were coming. And then he started using his banjo, or banjo slash guitar, his instrument, and also a weapon. And then he started to manipulate the dead corpses that were around him to attack the incoming enemies. And when all the dust and smoke cleared, and they said, how is he still standing? Then they got closer to him, and they realized with the last of his breath, while he was using the dead corpses to be his soldiers, be the ones to attack the other enemies, he was using his strings to sustain himself. And he died just like that from his wounds. He was just there standing, dead. And the thing was, prior to that was, like, he was still very close to death before he died. He saw Nizo, someone we have not seen nor heard of for well over hundreds of episodes. The last time we saw him was during the Benizakura arc, where he died. He was defeated by Gintoki and he died. Okay, and that was the last time we seen Nizo. And then we saw him basically, like, we thought he was going to, say, it's time for you to go because you're dead or anything, but he was telling him, you still have a little bit of breath in you, and you gotta still keep fighting. And that was it. Bansai is gone. And it really hurts, because the quote that they used at least twice during that time was like they had to walk over many corpses, even Nizo's, to keep pushing forward. And now Bansai is just one of those many corpses that Takasugi has to go over to reach towards his future. And then you see by the end of the episode, when Takasugi is going after more enemies, a look of anger at losing someone so close to him. And you can understand why. You can understand why. So this episode was very tragic. It was heartbreaking, because we knew of Bansai since the Benizakura, one of the biggest and most major arcs in Gintama. It had gotten a movie, retelling of that arc as a movie twice, both animated and live action. So to see a character that we all loved and cherished all these years having to say goodbye, it really struck a chord. And it hurts. It really does. And I'm glad for his character. I'm glad how Soroichi Sensei has developed him over the years to make him someone that had a lasting impression. And his death will not go unnamed. It won't go abashed or such. So, so long, Bansai. It was a fun ride. It really was a fun ride with him. So if you guys saw this week's episode of Gintama Silver Soul Arc Season 2, Episode 3, also known as Episode 15, do tell me in the comment section below on how you felt about this week's episode. How do you feel about Bansai over the years? What were some stuff that you like about his character? And how do you feel about his death? And what could this mean for the future of Kietai, and what this could mean for Takasugi as a character as well? And you can check out the links in the description box. And I'm Kimmy-chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye!